Hello there, citizens of Twitter, and welcome to this rather short comparison video between the Roland MT-32 and the CM-64. I'm shooting this video mainly because I promised a couple of months ago to Twitter followers, DOS Nostalgic and Demodulated, that I was going to do a video about these two units, but real life got in the way and I haven't been able to shoot it since then. But today I had some free time, so I thought, why not? So here I am. So let's remind a little bit of history about the Roland MT-32. Came out in 1987. It was intended as, I guess, a low-budget MIDI, entry MIDI studio unit, but he was deemed too noisy to be used in the studio, so it actually became a rather popular for computer music. Some developers, namely Sierra, of course, used it in their games, and rather well, I should say. So the M32, while a very low-end studio music MIDI device, became a rather high-end MIDI device for computer music. That's funny. Um, so the original one, there were several MT units. There's the MT-32. Then there was another revision which had a phone jack on the back, which relied on a new CPU and on a new PCB design. It was also used in the MT-100, which had a sequencer as well. But some games do rely on the heavy bugs that the original MT-32 old had, the old version, which I don't remember the PCB serial numbers, but if someone is interested, I can post them anyway. But the best way to identify between a new MT-32 and an old MT-32 is the phone jack in the back. These old units do not have a phone jack in the back. So Roland, realizing that there was actually a market for these things, so they decided to launch the CM units, which stands for Computer Module, and appropriately the color is beige, just to go along with the computer cases. So there were the first one was the CM32L, um, which was along with the Roland LAPCI, very much used in games. And the main difference between the CM32L and the MT32 is the inclusion of a sound effects bank, which has 33 extra sound effects, which were used in some games. And although you can technically use the MT32 on those games, whenever there's a sound from that bank being played, you're not going to hear anything, because the old MT32 does not have that sound bank. So those games will only sound 100% correct in the CM units. Now, I've been talking about the CM32L. The ISA version was the LAPCI card, but there were other CM units. There was the 64, which was based. It has two PCBs. As you can see, you see the LA/PCM sound module, because this unit includes not only a Roland CM32L PCB, it also has a CM32P PCB, and the P goes for PCM, which is basically relies on sampled PCM sounds. You can see the memory card here, which you could use memory cards to have more sounds and whatnot. So yeah, basically that's it. As far as I know, I mean, there's absolutely no relevance whatsoever in the CM32P part for DOS games. There's Japanese computers and platforms that actually make use of the CM32P part, but not for IBM DOS games. And actually, the CM32P, as we're going to see, actually brings a disadvantage, at least when compared to the CM32L. So there were two more units, the CM-300, and the CM-300 was basically a very early version of the sound canvas. It's a sound canvas, all right. It's a very early version based on the early versions of the sound canvas. And there's the 500, which has both CM-64 capability and sound canvas capability, which some might think that's the best unit actually to have, but in reality, it's not, because CM500 units are called third generation LA units, and they introduce a faster vibrato, which, I mean, it's not a big problem, and it's only noticed in a few games, but it can be a nuisance for some people. So I'm gonna basically show you. I have my Socket 7 DOS machine right here. I just launched soft MPU, and I'm basically gonna show you the disadvantage of the Roland CM-64. Um, it has when compared to MT-32 or CM-32L, which happens because the CM-64, as I said, uses two PCBs, and the CM-32L, if I'm not mistaken, uses MIDI channels from 1 to 10, and I think the CM-32P uses from 11 to 16. So what's going to happen is that some games are not going to sound 100% correct, or they'll have wrong sounds when used with the CM-64, unless you turn off the CM-64 part via a MIDI, a little MIDI command, or if you use a game driver that already disables the CM32 part, the CM32P part. Um, so yeah, that's the main issue. The advantage that the obviously the CM units have against the MT32 are the 33 sound, 33 extra sound effects, and also they're a little less noisy, especially the CM32L, because the CM64, because it has two PCBs, introduces a little bit more noise because the sound is mixed between the two PCBs. But yeah, yeah, let's show you a game here. So turn the unit on. Okay, so basically when you turn the unit on, the both the PCBs are going to be active. I thought about, let's go to Leisure Suit Larry 2 here. So this problem is going to show, especially on early SCI 0 games. So let's run the install here, check that everything is properly configured. So let's write EGA. All right, now, so I'll select Roland MT-32 sound module. Okay. No. Use the mouse. Okay, escape. Okay, so we just selected the Roland MT-32, which this unit is compatible because it does have a CM32L PCB. So, but we're gonna hear that the sound is not gonna be quite right. So let's check that out. My mixer here. So yeah, as you can hear, yeah, piano, electric piano, and some sounds are completely off. Yeah, this is totally wrong. So let's exit this game. Okay. Now I have prepared a batch file, which, as you can see, has some options. So I'm gonna turn off the PCM PCB on the Roland CM-64. There you go. MIDI message disabled, and let's run the game again. So if everything was done right, it should sound okay. So that's different. So it sounds great now. Everything is working just fine. All right. So as you see, this is a way around the problem. There's another way around in that later SCI Zero games did acknowledge this. So they have a proper driver that turns the unit off by itself, the 32P part by itself. So let's what I have here is Space Quest, Iceman, Colonel Quest. Yeah, let's go check Codename Iceman. Right, in the meantime, I'm gonna turn off the CM-64. That way, the CM-32P part will be on again, and we can check if the driver does the job. Now, as you can see here below, it doesn't only say Roland MT-32, but rather MT-32, MT-100, LAPCI, or it says 1, but don't mind that, that's error that they used to make at the time. It's actually Roland LAPCI, and then 32L and 64. Now, this driver is gonna turn off by itself. It's gonna send the proper MIDI command to a Roland CM-64, and hopefully it's gonna work, and we're gonna hear everything correctly. Remember that this time I didn't need to use my patch file to turn off manually, so this driver should do it by itself. And if you don't have the if you don't want to use like the MIDI the MIDI way, send a MIDI command to the unit, you can always run a game, an SCI Zero game that has this patch to disable the unit, and then run the older game, and it will be fine. It will run fine. So CR again. The unit is uploading, receiving MIDI messages. It's taking quite a while. There you go. That took quite a while. But yeah, I mean, everything sounds as it should, because the driver did what he had to do. So let's skip this part. Oops. Yeah, everything's sounding great. So there you go. This is basically, I know it's a very rough video, but gets the idea around. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you soon.